Speak boldly, your guide to conquering any conversation. I want to invite you to see communication not as a skill to perfect, but as a fragile human process. Shaped by perception, emotion, history, and attention. Where understanding emerges slowly, imperfectly, and only when we truly meet one another. The space between voices. Between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space is our power to choose. Viktor Frankl. Every human life is shaped by conversations. Some open doors. Others quietly close them. Most hover somewhere in between, unfinished, misunderstood, half-remembered. We like to believe that communication is simple. One person speaks, another listens. But lived experience tells a different story. Words leave one mouth and arrive altered in another mind, filtered through memory, expectation, fear, and hope. In that small space between what is said and what is heard, entire relationships are shaped. Not because we lack intelligence or goodwill, but because understanding another human being has always been one of the hardest things our species attempts. A brain that predicts before it listens. The brain is not a passive recorder of reality. It is an active constructor. Feldman Barrett. The human brain did not evolve to listen carefully. It evolved to survive quickly. Long before language, our ancestors learned to detect threats, patterns, and intentions at speed. That legacy remains. Today, when someone speaks, the brain does not wait politely for the sentence to finish. It predicts meaning before the words arrive. Neuroscience shows that perception is not a mirror, it is a forecast. The brain fills gaps, completes phrases, and interprets tone based on past experience. This is efficient. It is also dangerous for understanding. We do not hear what is said. We hear what our mind expects to hear. Misunderstanding, then, is not a failure of effort. It is the cost of a brain designed for prediction rather than patience. The long journey from intention to interpretation. Words are a lens to focus one's mind. Ayn Rand. Every message travels a long and fragile path. What we intend becomes what we say. What we say becomes what is heard. What is heard becomes what is interpreted. What is interpreted becomes what is remembered. At each step, meaning shifts, not because anyone is careless, but because no two minds share the same history. Language feels shared, but experience is not. Even when we speak the same language, we are translating between inner worlds. This is why so many conflicts begin with the phrase, "That's not what I meant." Meaning is never transmitted whole. It is reconstructed. When medium shapes meaning. The medium is the message. McLuhan. Human communication evolved face-to-face. Breath, tone, posture, silence. Modern life has stretched conversation across screens, signals, and fragments. Text removes tone. Emails remove timing. Messages arrive without bodies attached. Technology does not simply carry meaning, it reshapes it. A pause becomes indifference. Brevity becomes coldness. Silence becomes rejection. This is not a flaw of technology. It is a mismatch between ancient social brains and modern communication systems. Our tools speak faster than our nervous systems can interpret. Listening as a rare human state. Most people do not listen with the intent to understand. They listen with the intent to reply. Stephen R. Covey. Listening is often mistaken for silence. But true listening is effortful. It asks the mind to suspend its own narration, to stop rehearsing, defending, correcting. Psychologically, this is difficult. The self is loud. It wants airtime. It wants certainty. So instead of hearing another person, we wait for our turn to speak, playing our own record over their song. Understanding requires something countercultural: restraint. And restraint has never been humanity's strongest instinct. Panic, performance, and the fragile self. Under pressure, we revert to habit. William James. High-stakes conversations expose something ancient. When pressure rises, the brain shifts control from reflection to reaction. The prefrontal cortex, responsible for nuance and judgment, quiets. Older survival circuits take over. This is why people ramble, deflect, joke, freeze, or over-explain when it matters most. Not because they lack intelligence, but because the nervous system senses threat. Conversation becomes performance. Presence disappears. What looks like poor communication is often unregulated fear. Language is shelter and disguise. If you can't explain it simply, you don't understand it well enough. Albert Einstein. Humans use language not only to reveal, but to hide. Complexity can signal intelligence, but it can also mask uncertainty. Humor can connect, but it can also deflect. Jargon can clarify or protect the speaker from vulnerability. Cognitive science shows that the harder language is to process, the less meaning survives. Clarity is not a stylistic choice. It is a psychological kindness. Yet simplicity requires confidence, and confidence requires safety. Many conversations fail not because people lack words, but because they do not feel safe enough to be clear. Attention as the rarest currency. Attention is the beginning of devotion. Mary Oliver. In a world designed to fragment focus, attention has become precious. To give someone undivided presence, eye contact, silence, patience, is now an unusual act. And yet, it is the foundation of understanding. Anthropologically, attention signals value. It tells another nervous system, you matter right now. This may be why attention feels like love, not romantically, but existentially. Most conversations do not fail because words are wrong. They fail because attention is divided. Why we keep trying anyway? We are meaning-making creatures. Carl Rogers. Despite misunderstanding, humans keep speaking. We keep telling stories, asking questions, searching for connection. Because conversation is not just information exchange, it is how we locate ourselves in relation to others. Every attempt to communicate is an act of hope, a belief that inner worlds can touch, even briefly. Misunderstanding is common. Understanding is fragile. But when it happens, when someone truly feels heard, it reshapes memory, identity, and trust. Perhaps communication was never meant to be mastered. Perhaps it was meant to be practiced, imperfectly, repeatedly, humanly. This is the Sapiens way, where humanity reflects on the worlds it creates and the beings it is becoming. Thanks for your time. It's been a delight. What should we explore next? Comment, share, and save your insight. Subscribe to Orbital Reads and keep your thoughts bright.